on. So I explained that most people will think in this way. Most people don't even think in this way. They think that uh, it's a completely virtual world, and real world assets are transporting to the virtual world economy. They don't even think this. They uh, oh, their mindset is like they only see this part, the device and environment, and they call it metaverse, and they don't see the blockchain, Bitcoin. That's why they don't see the economy behind it. But we agree that without blockchain, you work for Koolpeace for free, and you without blockchain, it's like playing professional sports without compensation. So there's not going to be Premier League. There's no NBA. We agreed on this, and the economic backing is really required to make the to make something world changing phenomenon. And if you get this, you might think in this way, but for a broader perspective, this might be true at this phase. But you need to understand that the whole picture is this one. The metaverse and the real world will be united as one. And in the process, I made a bold prediction. Most people with the internet isn't it? Shouldn't there be D? Bad English grammar. Most people with the internet connectivity will perform their economic activities and create economic values in the metaverse. So when we think of when we think of how much uh, percentage is white collar job. It's the U.S., but seven in the oh no, not the one. Rate for white collar workers. Just yeah, it's the U.S. The data from Gallup, over 70% has just fallen, just over. So now it's 70%, right? And blue collar workers was 19%. We can translate it as like a four out of five are white collar workers, and the other 1 out of 5 is blue collar workers. Oh no, white collar workers. No, huh, no, four. Are blue collar workers. What this means is that we have agreed. And what this means, no, not going. How many white collar workers really need office? This paradigm will change. This paradigm. will change. The paradigm, we need office. Oh. And most people will commute. Most people will commute to the metaverse because their office is there. And so that was what we talked about, the economic activities and create economic values. Create economic values. We need to cover a little bit more today, but economic activities, that's gonna happen because thanks to we just a little bit before we talked about the economic base, the importance of economic base and for the metaverse. Without that, it's not backed by any economic values. So mass adoption of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and DeFi, the 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 first thing we can think of the when we think about the transition transportation from the virtual world to the real world, it's the opposite. Don't be confused. For the great integration, two and one, we were talking about the transportation from the real world to the virtual world. Uh, we are talking about the opposite way, the opposite direction. Mm. So we were for the previous two great integration. We were talking about this direction, and now we are talking about this direction. This is important because when you only think about this, it seems like it's important, but still for those who are really into the virtual world. But here today, I'm gonna explain you. This is not only this direction. This is also about this direction, and as a result of that, it matters to everyone. Not only like a gamers, not only a virtual VR enthusiast. So the easiest example uh, you can think about this direction would be the uh, tokenized assets could be used for compensating real world assets, and also you can buy real world assets with real world things. It will be real world things. Assets will be here, transported to here. It would be kind of it could be kind of complicated, but let me try to explain without too much going economic. Uh, so here, it's Julian's belief. Let's say conviction. Uh, all the assets, including M1 and M2, will be transported to uh, the metaverse, which means Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. I'm not saying Ethereum because Ethereum can be reversed. There is a possibility, although it's very hard. Ethereum is already like Uber and Airbnb. If somebody claims that we are a startup just starting right now and we're gonna catch up with Uber or Airbnb, it sounds absurd. It's gonna be incredibly difficult. So Ethereum is in that position, but it's still possible. Bitcoin, it's not. You can say that it's very unlikely that to happen. Much more unlikely than Ethereum. So here we say Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. So all the assets will be transported to the metaverse. So what about like a real estate? What about real estate? You ask real estate. So you have to think that you have to understand the price, the current price of real estate is not the real value of the uh, house as uh, a living life, not living life, has real value. The current price of real estate it is not the real value. It's not fair value of the house as a living equipment. Let's say equipment. What this means is that just to function, just to function as a shelter, just to function as a shelter or a fancy uh, place, fancy place. It is too much overpriced. And why are they so expensive? Uh, they currently function as a store of value. They currently function as a store of value. So that's why houses are expensive and buildings are expensive, and all real estate is expensive. That's because the people who don't prefer or who want to diversify that view the real estate as a store of value, and they diversify their portfolio from stocks and bonds to real estate. But once uh, once this happens, um, the real pretty much every asset will be transported to the virtual world. So that means it's gonna be viewed in this way. I mean, at this point, it's gonna be easier to understand this way. It's gonna be because you still think that the blockchain and Bitcoin is all about the virtual world, but at some point, this will happen, and when this happens, people will start to use cryptocurrency directly from the virtual world to the real world. Uh, Direct spending from virtual world. By the way, is it hard to understand? Like a real estate is a store of value. Uh, Somebody said something. Let me like Earth 2 for actual sale. Yeah, that's right. But that's still, I mean, that's a bit different story because Earth 2 actual sale is about locking the real world's real estate value into the blockchain. So it accepts and admits the value of real estate as a store of value, while accepting that uh, value position. Earth 2 or any other real estate blockchain platform tries to lock the value in the real world lock in those values in blockchain with the blockchain. But as this transformation accelerates, people will find more and more assets that they could diversify, and real estate will not be seen as a safe haven, as a store of value. That's what I mean. But uh, that's my I said that's my conviction. You can have your different opinion. It's not important to understand the metaverse, direct spending. So uh, those money is like we spend normal money in the normal real world because we spend the virtual world money in the real world. Uh, when we view them as two separate worlds, uh, it could be seen as reconversion from the virtual world to the real world. In that case, so reconversion, by reconversion mean uh, by the reconversion, I, you have to understand that the virtual world we're talking about is the metaverse. Metaverse, not we are. That's what you need to understand. By the reconversion, you have to understand that the virtual world we're talking about is metaverse, not we are. That is the easiest thing to understand. And the second thing, because metaverse is backed by the economic value, it could, you understand this, provide new living space and feeling experiences. Uh, let's copy this. Oh, backed by the uh, economic values. Let's see, cryptocurrency and blockchain. It will provide a new living space and feeling experiences. And these will be definitely helped by will be definitely helped by uh, technological technology advancement, such as VR glasses. That you need to understand. That's what people understand. And when you watch news and when you see people's comment, they are talking about VR glasses. That's they are saying truth in some way, because without this, this is going to be hard to provide. Like new living, to emphasize experiences, I'll put experiences everywhere. New living experience. new space experiences, and new feeling experiences. So one good example is that I actually posted. mm, I actually posted. I actually made the post. I'm always confused when I'm saying in English. Posting a post, it's not good. When I made a post, I guess it already passed. Let me see. Okay, this one. Uh, have you ever waited your girlfriend to finish shopping? I'll I'll make a screenshot of it. So this is an example. You need a lot of imagination. That's also the reason why I really encourage the 3D team to use their imagination and uh, uh, thoughts beyond the boundaries. I don't really limit their imagination. If we have to pick one part, only one part that I have to involve the list, it is the 3D team, and you have to use your imagination. One good example of space, new experiences, new space experiences. Oh, so small. You have to zoom in. So have you ever waited uh, for the convenience? Let's come here. Have you ever waited for your girlfriend to finish shopping? So what it means is that in the metaverse shop, I omitted some context, but for females, males can do the same too. But this is what I observe from females. They do a lot of discovery shopping, meaning that uh, they try to they just enjoy the experience of shopping while males try to get to the goal directly. So males goals oh, okay, of course, both genders goal is buying a clothes, buying a dress, or buying, let's say, buying pants. The goal is the same, but males want to try to go reach the goal as quickly as possible, and females, while they want to reach their goal, they enjoy the shopping experience, and that's why it takes more than 1 hour for them to browse and decide and ponder which pant is best for me, or even if it's not best, they just enjoy trying out. I actually didn't really elaborate because LinkedIn is very public, and I didn't want to be sexist. I didn't want to be sexist, but this is what I observed. So males would take full advantage from e-commerce because they could go to Amazon and what I look for. Let's search for what I look for. Let's say I'm looking for Bitcoin miner. Then male's objective is to find this one. So this is really useful. This search bar, but to make a comparison, this is not an exact analogy, but females would enjoy more than male. Like looking at this side. Oh, this looks interesting. I've never planned to buy this, but this looks interesting. So they will click this, uh, and they will say this, and they will make comments. So this is an example I made on my LinkedIn uh, experience, and while providing this experience, you need to provide a space. So that's also counted for new space experience. This is an easy example that anybody can think of. Anybody just like me, but who is not an expert in metaverse, anybody can think of. But when metaverse really flourish, there's gonna be there will be so many unexpected new experiences. Just like we can't imagine it now. We can only imagine like you should be able to fly with Oculus. You should be able to fly, and when that happens, don't you think that we you would enjoy flying in the metaverse rather than walking in the real world? I mean, if your goal is to not about health, not about uh, copying, would you prefer flying? No, walking over flying. Besides your besides your health, your better health. Would you prefer walking over flying? I don't think so. I don't think people will prefer flying. Uh, People will prefer flying. New living style, new living norm, new entertainment norm. You might think that you might think I prefer traditional walking rather than rather than uh, rather than flying. Uh, what would metaverse native generation think? So, what do what do smartphone native generation think? So I am kind of I am experiencing two major waves like smartphone. The Web 2 era was a harsh transition for me. Web 3 era, it's a transition for you as well. Many of you, uh, it would have been quite smooth to to adapt to the transition of Web 2 just using smartphone. So it's so easy. But let me make an example with my mistake. Julian's hard time and mistake was that uh, so when smartphone came out, uh, Julian refused to use a smartphone. You refuse to fund advocating uh, the true value of real connections, traditional connections, traditional connections. Smartphone things and social media things are too shallow. Julian. 2010. Okay. So you have to consider what I my perspective in 2010, and you will I understand that you will think the same. You will think the same for the metaverse. So many of you, except probably Rohan, except Rohan, I don't know. Let's not talk about age here. Uh, most of you are natives of Web 2, and you are uh, migrators of Web 3. So when you think about Web 3, you have to approach from Web 2 natives. Uh, you have to approach Web 3 from Web 2 natives mindset. That's what you need to do. Okay. Oh, we were off topic for quite a long time. The value created. Okay, so I mentioned this. I mentioned this. So uh, flying wasn't an experience or didn't have any economic value in the real world, but in the metaverse, there will be a bunch of things that will create its own economic value from the metaverse, not connected to the real world, not just about connecting, locking in the real estate to the blockchain. As there are going to be a lot of things for new economic value solely derived from the metaverse, but this is not possible before the real world assets and values are transported into the metaverse. So think about this. So let's use this. Mm. We don't want to go to too much economics or physics, but have you heard of the conservation of mass, law of conservation of mass, or law of conservation of energy, law of conservation of it works for economic, uh, financial energy as well. Energy. Mm. Financial energy. Let's copy this for the later use. Laws of conservation of mass. What is this? The mass in this universe is the same. Let's copy the outside images because I don't want to draw everything. Law of conservation of mass. let's copy this image. Uh, Copy image address and put insert image. So what this means is that by a chemical reaction, you cannot change the total mass. It cannot be converted into or destroyed or newly created. But later, it was linked to the laws of. Let's talk first with laws of conservation with energy. Let's copy the image again. Laws of conservation of energy. Okay, this is a good image. So energy will be transformed or converted from not one form of energy to another form of energy, but the total energy is the same. So when you think about this, when you think about the Earth, what's happening? What happens? What happens inside the Earth? The energy is the same. Whatever happens, like a nuclear bomb or a geological things, all everything happens. What's different is the Earth. It's not isolated place. It's a isolated space. It's connected to the universe, and uh, there's also sun. So we get Earth get energy from sun. So that's why the energy inside the Earth is not the same because Earth interacts with the outside sphere. Like from the sun, we receive energy, and Earth release the energy to the universe. But when we think about the whole universe, it's the same. The whole universe. When we think about the whole universe, it's the same. That's what you need to understand. Okay, let's get back to this one. This should apply to the financial energy as well. When this happens, no, not this happens. So at this before blockchain, all the financial energy was here, and you got to understand that unless like a but that's a more like a technological evolution and efficiency. That's all different topics, so we're not going to talk about this. Just let's assume that everything else is the same. Before this cannot happen because there was a zero financial energy before. Zero financial energy before. Zero. Previously, before blockchain, there was zero financial energy. What that means is that if the metaverse is all about the VR, unless something like a revolution happens technologically inside here, unless that's another, but at least from the beginning, you should transfer real world financial energy to the virtual world, and it can create or further facilitate from there and at that point, when it is ripened enough, when it is mature enough, it should be able to transfer the its metaverse, the financial energy from the metaverse to this real world. And that's what I wanted to explain here. The value created from the metaverse will be transferred to the real world, just like a fine. You at first you transfer some real world monetary financial energy from here to here, and you lock in a real estate things from here to here, and then it becomes mature and mature, and it creates its own economic value, just like flying. And then you'll convert the financial energy from the virtual metaverse to the real world. In what form? In what form? Reality is a reality. Reality. It's a. Um, I guess we need to skip this time. Uh, you had a little bit of understanding because of my example of flying, but to go deeper, it requires a lot of time, a lot of minutes. We have 10 more minutes. Rise of AI and automated robot labor. So in the real world, uh, in the real world, uh, labor will be replaced by AI and robots. Robots. So uh, we will the more accelerated and more integrated with with the metaverse, people will do little and little more, less and less things in the real world. They will do more and more things in the real world. And so blue collar jobs, definitely blue collar jobs will be replaced by robots in the real world. We need blue collar jobs. We need all the jobs. I mean, we shouldn't look down on any kind of jobs. Uh, although there's a difference in although there's a difference in income, without any kind of job, this society doesn't function. But
Sorry to interrupt, Julian.
yeah.
I think the wrong screen is shared.
Oh. You have to let me know. You have to let me know. Since when, man?
Like 2-3 minutes back.
Okay. You have to let me know. Don't be sorry for interrupting. Always interrupt. Welcome to interrupt. More accurate, more no, more accelerated, and more integrated with the metaverse. People will do. We need we need blue collar job in the real world. That's what you say, right? We need physical work. That's gonna be much more replaced by real world. I don't know about India, but in Korea, uh, in just an example, in Korea, uh, there have been rapid adoption on uh, kiosk. Do you know kiosk? Uh, it's like a, how do I explain kiosk? Automated kiosk at restaurants. So you click the menu on the screen, and you pay with your credit card, and you get the receipt and you get number. So uh, you go to receive the food, or depending on the restaurant, you just sit in and you just sit in, and the waiter will come to you to serve the food just with simple kiosk. Uh, it's a great threat. It's a great threat to waiters. Uh, it's not gonna be so rapid, like as in many countries, they will fight for their human right, and many more socialism countries, they will limit the use of AI and robots, so that uh, ordinary people without too much skill sets can continue to make money. But then this is discussed in the context of I don't. This is kind of off topic, but I don't know when if we'll have opportunity to talk about this. But UBI will be discussed. Universal basic income, with the adoption of AI and robots. And there is a skeptical or critical view on this, uh, as they believe that there will be lots of more creative jobs that require a human touch and human creativity. That's to be discussed. Um, but one thing for sure is that blue collar jobs, the disappearance, the replacement, blue collar jobs will only be delayed by politicians and those who support them, because people don't want to lose their job. If we have a chance, we can discuss it. UBI. So you can see that metaverse, uh, metaverse is not about a choice, but survival. Another bold prediction. Bold prediction. Most people will not agree, because you took this class, which is free. If you choose to live after 3 months, it's free. It's a free class. It was a free class. So you now have knowledge and insight in this metaverse. So unlike other people, unlike your family members, you might not have enough time, or you were too lazy to persuade your family. Or your friends, you were too lazy to explain everything to your family friends. So when they read the news and watch the news, they will think, and they will they will only absorb the information as much as the media outlets deliver. But when you are exposed to those news, you have to have some insight. You can read beyond that news. This news means something else. This is not just about this. You have to have that insight. That's the whole point of this class. Um, Metaverse is not a choice. Oh, I didn't want to make it bold. everything. Survival. Not only for blue collar jobs, but also for white collar jobs. I made a bold prediction that almost most economic values will be created and most economic activities will be performed in the metaverse. You got to think about this, and the next class tomorrow we'll discuss the limitation of the current blockchain technology, which people criticize often, and uh, for the following days, we'll discuss what's our role in this transformation stage. What's our role in Koolpeace, and for the following week, we'll discuss. Uh, we'll be going on totally discussion based. So, any questions so far? For today, it was a bit difficult for some to understand the real estate is more than the value of the physical house. That may not be understood, but you can ignore it. This one. Any questions so far? If we don't have,
No.
yeah, okay,
No, not from my side.
okay. You may go. Bye bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Good night.